So the first thing I noticed when I jumped behind the wheel of this car is how loose the handling is. I just want to be up front. I prefer really tight handling on cars. I like it when you have to give it a little bit of muscle to make the vehicle turn. With this one, it seems like you get quite a bit of flex, so you can really manipulate that steering wheel quite a bit before the car is actually going to turn. And for me, it makes me feel a little bit less comfortable. I feel like I don't have as much control over the turns as I would like. Now, I gotta be clear, I'm being extremely critical. It's not like this car can't be driven, and can't be driven well. It's actually very pleasant. It's just not my preference, so I want to put it out there. Also, when I'm driving cars down this street, what I like to play around with is the ability to hug the corner, hug that edge right there between the blacktop and the curb. On the ones I enjoy driving, I can do that almost effortlessly. With this one, I'm finding it a little bit challenging. The steering is so loose that it takes a lot more effort to be able to hug that crease, and I find myself drifting out of the lane quite often. Now, in all fairness, if I drove this car for maybe, you know, a couple of months, I'm sure I would get much better at it. But just my initial driving experience, it's not quite what I wanted. So one of the most fun things about electric cars is the acceleration. Let's try out the acceleration on the Leaf. So I'm at a dead stop. Are you ready for this? 3, 2, 1. 20, 30, 40, 50. Whew, that was smooth. Pretty quick too. I mean, not the fastest car I've ever driven, but I don't know, that's kind of fun. That was the lane departure assistant buzzing at us. I was drifting out of my lane a little bit. Watch, let me do it again. It's what I would consider nanny technology. Like, I like it, but sometimes it feels a bit like nagging when I'm trying to do some more aggressive driving. Anyway, let's get back to acceleration. I'm gonna do one more from a dead stop, and then I also want to play around with acceleration while we're moving to see how responsive the vehicle is. I have a feeling it's going to be really nice. Are you ready? 3, 2, 1. I'm flooring it. 20 at 20, 30. And we're at 40. Do you see that? We didn't even get to the turn before we got all the way up to 40 miles an hour. That is nice. I'm gonna take it on a highway in a second and we can get up way past 40. But for now, I just want to say the acceleration is pretty fun. And you know what? I just noticed we are actually in eco mode. So that was one of the slower settings of the vehicle, actually the slowest setting. So let me get up here, do a U-turn, and let's do one in what I would consider to be regular driving mode. Unfortunately, there is no sport mode on this vehicle. There we go. Dead stop. 3, 2, 1. 20, 30, 40, 50. Whew! That is nice. You know, for like what's considered basically a family car, that's some pretty decent pickup. It's kind of fun to drive. You feel like the speed is pulling you back into the seat, and I kind of have to like clench my abs a little bit because it's so fast. It's pretty fun. All right, so let's keep playing with acceleration. Now what I want to test out is when we're already moving, so we're actually going 35 right now, how fast can the car lurch forward when I slam on the pedal? Oh, I am turning that off. That is so annoying. All right, the nanny technology has been turned off. So let me pull an illegal U-turn right here. Thankfully, this is an office park that no one uses during the weekend. And let's play around a little bit more. So I'm gonna get it up to 30. All right, now when we get around this corner, I'm gonna slam down on the accelerator and let's see how fast the car responds. All right, 3, 2, 1, woo! So it is almost instant acceleration. Let me do it one more time. Slow down a little bit, get around this corner, and I'm gonna slam on the accelerator pedal. 3, 2, 1, whoa! So you push down, I don't know, I'm giving it about a couple of inches, and man, you just lurch forward instantly. It's quite fun, actually. Much more responsive than a gas-powered engine. Even like on the higher end sports cars that I've driven, even those, there's a couple of heartbeats from when you hit that pedal until you actually burst forward with speed. On this one, it is instantaneous, and I don't know, it's pretty fun. I gotta say, I'm kind of addicted to driving these electric cars. It's such a different driving experience than I'm used to. So one fun thing about this car is that Nissan has e-pedal technology. That's their term for it. I call it one pedal driving, meaning that all you have to do is use the accelerator pedal to drive around, and rarely do you have to touch that brake pedal. So right now I'm driving through this parking lot and I'm pushing down lightly on the accelerator. When I lift my foot off the accelerator, it's going to slowly bring the car to a dead stop. And use the regenerative braking on the electric motor to generate more power and bring the vehicle to a dead standstill. It's actually quite fun. It takes a little bit of getting used to, but especially in stop and go traffic, it's pretty amazing because you don't have to shift your foot back and forth from the pedal to the brake, from the pedal to the brake. Really all you're doing is lightly pressing down on that accelerator to go forward and then lightly lifting your foot up to bring the car to a stop. Now, it doesn't work in every scenario. You know, if you're driving down the road and suddenly that stoplight shifts to red, you're probably going to have to push down on that brake pedal to bring the car to a sudden stop. But even then, the car is going to use a little bit of regenerative braking to help brake the vehicle and just store up a little bit more energy. So you do gain a little bit of charge every time you do that. So I like this technology because it kind of turns your driving into a little bit of a different experience, right? Not only are you just going to your destination, but you can kind of gamify it a little bit and see how good of a range you can actually get on a trip that you take really often, right? Can you drive a little bit smarter, use regenerative braking a little bit more, and maximize your fuel efficiency? I don't know about you, but I kind of dig it. All right, one other thing I want to look at is cabin noise. With the benefit of the electric car is that, you know, you don't have that rumbling of the engine, so that takes away quite a bit from the cabin noise. So really on this one, all you have is a little bit of road noise and then some of that wind going over the top of the vehicle. So let me be quiet for a second so you can just get a quick sense for it. It's not bad, right? Let me turn on the radio.
Here she is standing.
So that's at about a quarter of the way to max volume, and I mean, I don't know if you could hear on your device, but here in the car it's pretty clear. I could hear what the guy was saying pretty easily, even with that little bit of road noise. So cabin noise at this speed, so like normal suburban speeds, is I mean, it's top notch. What I want to do now is jump on the highway and play around with, you know, acceleration and handling at higher speeds. There's that nanny technology again. And then also kind of experience cabin noise a little bit at a higher speed and see, you know, if things deteriorate quite a bit when we get up to like 80 miles an hour. All right, so we're gonna go through this toll. I'm gonna do something a little bit illegal. I'm gonna bring us to a dead stop. Hopefully there's no police around. And then let's really test that acceleration on this thing. Thankfully there's no one behind us. So I'm pushing down on that brake pedal. All right, you ready for this? 3, 2, 1. Oh, I'm flooring it. Whoa, there goes my toll pass. We're already at 40. Here comes 50, 60, 70. We're still going smooth. 80. Woo, that was smooth. I love how silent it is too. You didn't feel like the gears were shifting, you know, that you didn't get any of that. It's just a smooth whine all the way up, all the way to 80. It's pretty nice. All right, so now that we're going a little bit faster, let's try out a little bit of handling. So what I'm gonna do is change lanes real quick. Doesn't feel too bad. I feel like I'm in pretty good control. Let's do that again. So we're going 75 right now, and honestly, changing lanes is no big deal. Let me slow down a little bit. There's someone behind me, so I'm not gonna be too much of a jerk. Let's let this car go by. All right, so we're at 65. Let me slam down on the accelerator. 70, 75, 80, 85. So you still do get that sudden burst of speed if you need it. It's not quite as exhilarating as when you're going at lower speeds and you just blast forward, but even at this speed, that electric motor is extremely responsive. So acceleration and handling, pretty good at this speed. The thing I am noticing that's a big difference is cabin noise. So let me be quiet for a second just so you can get a sense of it. So you can definitely hear the wind going over the car. It's pretty apparent. I'm having to raise my voice a little bit. And you can easily hear the cars around us, which isn't necessarily a bad thing. I'm just pointing out that this isn't the quietest vehicle on the road. Last test, let me turn on the radio again. I'll keep it at the same volume as before, and let's see if we can hear what's being said over the radio. Yeah, I gotta be honest, I don't know about you, but I'm having a really hard time understanding what's being said, so there we go.
There's never been.
So at lower speeds, I could keep the volume at about, I'd say 25%, but at this speed, we're going 75. I had to increase it to at least 50 to 60% before I could hear it. Maybe that's just my old man ears, but I just want to keep that in mind. I mean, if you are like me, you do a lot of commuting, listen to a lot of audiobooks and podcasts, you are going to have to increase the volume pretty substantially in order to be able to hear what's being said. Overall, though, the handling at this speed is pretty decent. All right, so since we're on the highway, the last piece of technology I want to play around with is cruise control and the adaptive cruise settings, and then also the lane departure assistant technology as well. So that button is on the right-hand side of the steering wheel. It's kind of got a blue icon on it. What we're going to do is we're going to turn on cruise control, and I'm going to set it at a max distance and see what the car does. So I've set the cruise at 61 miles an hour. So with adaptive cruise, what it's going to do is use sonar to detect the car in front of me, that maroonish SUV, and it's going to keep the same distance behind that car. So if that car slows down, we're going to slow down to match it. If that car speeds up, we're going to speed up to our maximum cruise setting of 61 miles an hour. It's a little slow right now, so I'm going to speed up and then set our cruise a little bit higher. So let's set it at 70. 68 actually. So Nissan also has lane departure assistant technology. So watch, it's keeping the car pretty center in this lane, and then it's actually turning for me, right? So we're actually moving over a little bit. So it's not perfect. So it definitely can't do an on-ramp or an off-ramp for you, you know, where you're doing a big wide turn. But gentle curves on the interstate, it can handle with no problem, which is actually kind of fun. So let me set it one more time, just so you can get a sense for it. Now, what you're going to see on the dash is a steering wheel lit up to show you that technology has been turned on. So we have adaptive cruise, keeping a distance from that vehicle ahead of us, and then it's actually going to steer for us by sensing the lines in the road and then making those small turns for us. It's beeping at me right now because you can't just take your hands off the steering wheel indefinitely. I'd say after about 20 seconds or so, it's going to ask you to put your hands back on and just give it a tiny bit of feedback. But all in all, it's really nice that the car can do some basic driving for you. I find this most useful on long road trips where I'm driving for maybe an hour or two on a road like this that isn't that interesting, and I can just kind of let the car maintain a safe distance of the vehicle ahead of me and do those gentle curves for me, which is really nice. One word of warning though, it only works on a road like this. You see how well defined these white lines are? They're almost brand new. If you're on a road that needs a little bit of work and those white lines have faded to the point where they're really hard to see, well, then this technology is going to struggle and probably not going to work out very well for you. All right, so that's pretty much it for the driving experience. I gotta say, driving these EVs is a ton of fun. It's so different. If you haven't done it, I highly recommend you try it out. Anyway, that's it for now. Thank you so much for joining me for this one, and I hope you join me next time when I'm back renting and reviewing another rental car. I'll see you then.